Hello everyone, my name is Jordan, iRadio sports journalist, and right now I'm standing at the National Stadium Turf, and with me here is national team head coach Cyprian Ashu. Exactly, that's your name, right?
Yeah, you're welcome.
How do you feel coming in here, the National Stadium? Have you ever been here before today?
Yeah, I always make sure I visit, probably always in a 2 weeks gap. So yeah, once in a while I just pop in to see how the work is going on and what level they are.
What do you feel when you come into the stadium and imagining all this involvement of the national team in home games playing away from home? What feeling comes to your mind every time you come here and you see work progressing and things looking like getting to completion very soon?
I think even with the work going on, every time I get in here, you could feel that blood just pumping, and you can't wait for the day that we're going to play on this stadium with all our South Sudan the fans behind us, and we can't just wait. We can't just wait.
I don't know if you've ever had a chance to interact in a game with the South Sudanese fans. Have you ever played a game in a location where we had South Sudanese fans cheering up the team, or it has never happened ever since you became manager?
It has happened, but not really. Not really a big crowd. We've had 1,500 in Khartoum, but here in Juba, you're talking about 15 to 20,000. So it's a different ball game.
Let's talk about the nature of the stadium. You don't want, of course, we're not going to talk about the overall thing of it, the turf of it, the turf especially, because I've played in these other artificial turfs where you have six-a-side and stuff. How different is this carpet? Is it authentic carpet, or how different is this? Is it the one that you can roll on your knees and you can celebrate on your knees, or this also hurts like those other ones? Because I've ever tried playing in the others, and sometimes they had a little.
I think it's probably fourth generation, which is good. Yeah, you could see it looks like grass, resemble grass, which is good. I think it's more modern. It's okay, and okay with our weather here to take care of the natural grass is sometimes very difficult. So I think with this it's more easier.
Oh, the last time we had a conversation, I think you had just come from Burkina Faso, and you said that you were going to have time to sit with the association. Do you feel like with your contract situation the way it is, you still have a chance to manage this team in this stadium the way it's looking? Has anything progressed so far?
It's not about having a chance. It's I think if you talk about it's two ways. What the federation wants and what I want, and if we could at least come to a compromise, an agreement, then we could
And that's
go
exactly
forward.
what I'm
Yeah.
asking. Is
So-
what is happening? No conversation started until now?
Uh, I think you have just to be patient when things, yeah, there are talks on the pipeline, but when things are ready, when things are matured, and then we'll be able to tell to the media. But I think, yeah, we're still on the right path.
What are you doing with your life at the moment? Is there any activities that the U.S. national team head coach is doing at the moment, work-wise?
We want to take this opportunity to try to, I think, over the weekend we have to watch a game somewhere in Wow. We have to go to Wow and watch the
Which
game.
is going to be the final of the
Yeah,
cup?
the final there. And we'll try to have opportunities like that to visit other regions. And I think probably we got also the draws for the Arab tournament coming up. I think
When are the
24th
draws going to be?
on the 24th
Where is it going to be conducted?
in Doha, in Qatar.
So are we having the technical team as well joining in the draws?
Yeah. So I will have to be there. And I think after that, then we'll sit down inside the coming week, and then we come up with a program how we want to go forward, what the various scouting that we have to do to put in place, and also the preparation, especially we got June coming up where you got the FIFA friendly windows coming up, which at least we have to have a friendly game. And then also preparing towards November. But I think we have to put certain. Okay, we finished with the qualification. We had a program that did takes us up to the qualification, so we need to see the way forward now.
So now your players, you already disbanded them. I'm sure they are involved with their clubs, but there is no much club activity as well. Nothing really serious happening in football in South Sudan, apart from the cup games with the states that are involved with cup games.
I think that is something that I need to push with the federation, and if the federation could push with the government, because if you look in reality, for almost 2 years we haven't had any league game here in South Sudan, and that doesn't really favor anybody, neither the players, neither the national team, neither South Sudan as a country. We've been missing almost 2 years now without any CAF competition representative, which is not good.
So if you had a suggestion that you would want to give the federation to push with the government, what would it be?
At least the government, they have to allow the football activities to go on as normal, but with respect to COVID regulations, and probably without fans, same like how we have the women's league going on without fans. So I think it could work also both ways.
Now let me take you to the November event. I think it's our next big involvement in a competitive nature. Are you having already a schedule about how you would want to go about the preparations this early with the draws you said coming up very soon? Are you planning already how you're going to prepare for the Qatar Mini World Cup?
We will sit down with the technical staff and the federation in the coming week, and we'll put down a roadmap how we want to prepare towards that tournament. As I said, it's a very big opportunity for us to show the world who we are, what we got, and some of our local players also. It's a massive opportunity for them to put themselves up there in the market, which is good. So we'll take our time. We'll get good preparation, some friendly games also before then. So if we are going into that tournament, we'll be going with our head high.
How many teams you said are going to participate in the Mini World Cup, and how long is that event going to be?
I think it should be 24 countries. So it should probably 3 weeks to 4 weeks.
Team selection for the national team in most countries, of course, you have the team selected for each competition differently. Like you get different names on the team every time there is an involvement with the national team. In the South Sudan case, where you have a lot to build, do you always tend to be pushed in a situation where you have to be consistent with the names that come on the team, because then you will want to adapt them, especially with the nature of the leagues that our players are involved in? You think it's not possible for you to call different players at different times?
The thing is, we are still a very young country and very young federation, and young in everything, in football, in infrastructure, in everything. And same applies to players. We don't have that luxury where we could call there and there and straight. Yeah, we got very limited number of players playing in top leagues. So we have to do with what we got in our hand. And as I keep saying, the COVID situation hasn't really helped, because for the past almost 2 years without any league games being played around the country, it's so difficult for us to watch other players from other states. We could only rely on players playing here in Juba, watch them maybe South Sudan Cup, which has been the only games being played for almost 2 years, and it's very limited we could do.
You already have a player from WOW, you said, in the last involvement with the national team, the goalkeeper who you said they sent and he looked very good. Now going to WOW this weekend, what are you looking forward to in terms of going for this scouting mission?
Always when I go out for scouting, I always go with an open mind, and always let the players surprise you. Yeah, always go there to see something something different from what you got, and I think it's same idea going to WOW. We'll be going there. Okay, we know one or two players, but our goal is to see every player and let those players surprise us. Let's coming back, especially coming back with my assistant, we'll be able to discuss, this. It's always good. You go with an open mind and let the game surprise you. Let the players surprise you.
So when are you traveling to WOW? And
we're supposed to travel tomorrow, Friday, and the game is Saturday.
And you'll come back immediately after the game, or the next day probably?
We should be coming back Monday. Yeah.
Apart from WOW, you don't have any other scouting mission that you've planned for this period?
I think the other local federation, they're also planning to invite us during their finals. I think I did spoke with the president of Kwajo, something, yeah, and
all those others that have not completed their South Sudan Cups.
They want us to be present during their finals, which is good.
Now let me come to your personal life as a coach. I want you to talk to me about Ashu, the coach, the guy involved with football. How did it all start? Growing up, getting involved with the game until you became a coach. Walk us briefly through that little story. I'm sure you've been asked this question many times, but it's just a whole new thing for me.
I think football is something I was being born with, and I grew up with football. And
you had any parents who played the game?
Like every no, my father was a tutor, so probably I came from a teaching family, which we had uncles, and they were all teachers, and I think probably that is why that led me to coaching. But when I was growing up, yeah, it was, you shouldn't play football. You have to go to school because they want you to be a doctor. They want you to be this and that, and in those years you have to be stubborn to be able to play football, which some of us.
Did it get you in trouble at any one point?
We got in trouble so many times just from playing football, and then from there, okay, when we had the opportunity also to play in clubs, and then when professional, and then played a couple of years as professional player, and then when you could see went into coaching very, very young, because even when I was still playing, I was still coaching the youth teams while still playing. When other players are resting in the evening, I go and work with the.
So you had that inspiration to become a coach from a very much younger age, probably because of the influence of your father, who was a teacher, and so that teaching aspect was built in you from the way you were brought up.
If I look back, and I think sometimes it goes in the family line. Yeah.
What was the pressure like beginning your coaching career? Because as a young coach, you're beginning a new career. I'm sure you had too much expectations of yourself. The environment was pressurizing in a way of you looking at people who competition and how you were going to make it in the profession.
I think when I started, I didn't have any pressure. It was more some sort of for fun, because I started from kids. Mm-hmm. I did coach from kids to amateurs before. So I've coaching. Where I started having pressure is when I started working with in the professional league, where it's about winning. Then you start feeling that pressure. But
When was the first time you got into professional contact with football at a coaching level?
That was when I was academic director in Barnet, in England. That is when that was my first step into pro. I was coaching the under 18s, and also I also have to look from the 18s right down to the under 8s. So there you could, because you want, even though it's youth, but in England they want to win.
Yes.
And the parents, they want to hear that, oh, our team has win, probably Arsenal or Chris.
So there was a bit of pressure at that point.
You already feel that pressure. Yeah.
And then from there, you moved to...
From there, I moved to Northampton, which is also a professional club. And then I did work also with non-league clubs. And then my big break was when I went with Goran Eriksson to Leicester City.
Yeah, of course, but being a part of this club, it was in the bigger picture, I'm very sure, you felt you were a part of the story.
Leicester has always been like a family. Even up to date, it's been run as a family, where from the young player to the senior player, from the young staff to the senior staff, they all like family. When you get to our training ground, the under 18s, the under 17s, under 21s, the first team players, we all share the same restaurant.
Now that brings me to a very important question. In South Sudan, somebody would sacrifice watching their local club playing and go watch an English team on screen, for instance. If I'm an Arsenal fan, a United fan, I would rather go watch Manchester United. When Atlabara is playing and I live in Atlabara, it has a direct connection with me. What do you think these clubs do differently that has our attention to a point we actually don't know their internal function, but we are so attached to them to a point that we could give so much?
I think the English Premier League has captured the minds of the world, especially football. And it's not just here in South Sudan, it's all over the world. When there's a Premiership game, whatever Premiership game, you will see a lot of fans, not just from England, but all over the world. Everyone is focused on that game. They will even leave their most important aspect of life just to watch those games. But it's what it comes with it, because those clubs, they invest a big sum of money to get the best players in the world, and that is why it's one of the best league in the world. And you can't blame the people of South Sudan to be big fans of the Premier League. No, it's good football. It's good. Okay, now we miss that fun that fun aspect. But when the fans were there, the atmosphere is incredible. So I think everyone in the world loves watching the Premier League.
What advice would you give us as South Sudanese? Because you've been involved with football at the most elite level, and maybe it comes down to resources at some point. But then with the little resources, probably you can take these little steps that can make us progress. Of course, we are not aiming to compete with the league. But what do you think, what little steps do we want to take at our league levels that can give us progress towards an elite position?
I think, remember, as I said earlier, we are still a very young country. And when I mean young in everything, in all aspects, from infrastructures, from the resources, which I think we need to concentrate more now on grassroots football in the country, which is the foundation of football in the country, the foundation of
Not
sport.
so many people understand the word grassroots football.
What I mean by grassroots football, I mean the youth, like from the under 8s up to the under 18s. We need to get that structure. We need to get youth leagues in in every region. Then we have to have like the National Youth League, where the best of in those regions could compete, and then we could grow from there. And also, football is about resources. Football needs money. Without money, you can't develop football. And we need those stakeholders, those businesses, and all those to invest also in local clubs, in youth clubs, youth. Okay, take for example, if you got like MTN, if MTN comes today and say, okay, for example, we got MTN Youth Cup in Juba or Youth Cup in South Sudan, where every region compete, that is going to boost. And then there's probably a price, just a small price at the end. The young players are going to compete on that, and that will somehow help football develop in the country.
I will ask you two questions, one from the playing perspective, one from the coaching perspective. We've had courses, some organized by CAF, a few organized by FIFA, training coaches, for instance, license C, CAF coaching training. Maybe it's a 2 weeks activity, maybe it's a 1 month activity. You think these licenses, of course you get a paper, are they enough to equip a person attending that training with the necessary skills required to make it in coaching and be able to build and train a team?
I think those licenses, like the C and B license, CAF, I think they give you a foundation which you have to build on, and it's like a doctor. Yeah, you graduate from a prestigious university as a doctor, but you need to practice. By practicing, then you become a better doctor. You don't just take those certificates, and then also you need to keep learning, because football you have to learn every day. The day you stop learning in football, you have to forget about football. So as a coach, it's a continuous process.
So do you still go for trainings, for instance, coaching trainings? And I'm sure you have probably one of the top licenses in coaching. That I think will have to come from you. But do you also go for refreshment trainings to make sure your skills are updated, that you're very in touch with the progress in the game? And
of course, I do that a lot. I do a lot of reading in my spare time, and there is no day that goes by without me spending at least an hour or two going through football articles, what other coaches are saying, what other, especially the tactical side of football. And we also do, like, even during this COVID, we do online courses, Zoom courses. And you have to do that. It's a continuous process.
now it applies to the players, I guess, as well. If you put me on the staff now, I'm very sure I can shoot the ball and it can go in the net. And in my head, that makes me believe if I had opportunity, maybe I could play at professional level. What's the difference between a player who plays good football in the village, a player who makes it at the professional level? What do you think is the line between amateur football and professional football?
It's the mentality of wanting more. Professional players, they want more, which means from the work rate, they want more. Why very little will make it as professionals? Because to play at the top level, you have that egoist that you want to work more, you want it more. They come to training, they want to work. After training, they carry on. Their lives evolves around football.
Do you have this kind of players in your national team, the national team of South Sudan now? Is there a player that you think has that mentality to make it at the elite level if they had opportunity?
I think we got few players with that mentality, especially some of our boys from Juba, where you could see in them the work that they put in, Even sometimes at the end you think, oh, why is this boy working so hard? He's going home. He got nothing even to recover with. How is he going to cope tomorrow? But they come tomorrow, they do it again. And with that attitude, you could see some of them, if they have the opportunity, they'll make it. They'll make it.
I think let's draw this interview to a close. Our youth teams, you said that it's the foundation of football in this country. What plans do you have for youth structures in South Sudan? As head coach, I'm sure you can influence that in a way at the moment.
Yeah, I've spoken to the federation a few times on that, and I've, especially concerning the youth league, and I think the federation they've had it set up, and from what I learned, I think you got certain like youth academies, competitions, leagues, and all that, which is good. But the thing is, they need resources, and that is why, if you remember, I talked about, I mentioned MTN. When company like that comes in and probably maybe sponsor the league, which means put maybe a price tag.
So basically, to develop the game, not only the government should be looked at, also big businesses that can change a bit of something will make a difference.
Yeah, it's everybody. But the businesses, they got more resources, especially now, because okay, we are a new country, and the government they got other priorities like schools, hospitals, and all that to put in place. But businesses could also help, and I think here in South Sudan you got a lot of foreign businesses being set up here. They could help. That is if you go like in England, people say the Premiership, but if you look back, how do the Premiership becomes very big, well market? It was because of Sky. The amount of money Sky put into the Premiership every year, it's a lot. It's billions. So football doesn't just grow like that. You need that resources.
Tell us about your personal life in South Sudan when you're not with the team, when you don't have any activity with the team. What do you do? Do you go out? Do you roam around town to try to discover Juba? What do you do?
I spend a lot of time in my room.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched a lot of football. But going around, maybe during the afternoon, sometimes I go to the federation, or maybe go somewhere, sit down, have a cup of coffee with friends. But not really going around during the night.
Maybe you should try to imagine the culture. Maybe you will get adopted and
I would love to.
And love to move here from your London home and settle in South Sudan someday.
I would love to, but I haven't really had that opportunity where, okay, now I've got few days without training or really involved with the national team. But ever since, it's always games, preparation, and the thing is, as I said, we are a very young country, and we can't behave like those top African football countries where they bring in their players a week before. We always start our preparation probably 2 months before the games. Yeah, to be able to get our players to that elite performance level. So we don't really have much time.
Final question is about the women's team. Do you have time? Have you had time to interact with the head coach of the women's team? An opportunity to sit down, and she's also from South Africa, and probably she has the same kind of exposure. Have you had time to chat about South Sudan?
We haven't really had time to sit and have a chat, because when she came in, we were out, and when we came back, she also, I think, a few days, she's
started the camp with the...
Yeah, and she's very busy now with the preparation. But I think in the near future we'll find time. I'll meet up with her then. We'll have a
Final
chat.
thoughts to our viewers and something that I haven't been able to ask that we want to communicate.
I think, as I said inside our conversation, the people of South Sudan, we need to be patient. We need to know where we're coming from, yeah, what we have, and where we want to go, how we could work together to get there. And football demands a lot of resources. It demands also a lot of the local support, rallying behind the various teams, not just the national teams, but even the local teams.
You mean club football, the local club?
Yeah, club football also, and it's how we could support those teams with even the little that we have. Yeah, that will make the difference. But if we just going against
Always comparing it with
comparing
the
with
competitions.
we can't do that, because those countries, they have been playing football for the past 50 years. We've been playing just for the past 9 or 10 years. So we still got a long way to go, and it's better we walk than trying to run.
Thank you very much, Ashu. I'm sorry we couldn't find you a chair and you had to sit on the floor. I'm not so sure you've ever done this in your coaching career before you came to South Sudan.
Yeah, I think it's lovely, and just seeing also the field and how the work is going on, I think it's lovely.
Thank you very
It was
much.
a
I hope
pleasure.
we'll be able to meet here someday for a game and the stadium will be filled up and packed with fans.
We look forward to that.
Looking forward to
Can't
that
wait.
day.
Thank you.
So this was me and Coach Ashu Cyprian speaking about the development that is going on at the National Stadium. And we hope to meet here for a game that will be played when the stadium is ready. And thank you very much for being a part of this. For iRadio, I am Yamba Jordan.